My name is Lorraine. I am 32 years old, and on the night of a family dinner, my mother-in-law handed me a special dinner box, one she had carefully labeled and separated from the others as though I were some fragile specimen. The dining room was bright, filled with the soft hum of conversation and the clinking of silverware. Long before we sat down, I could smell roasted chicken, rosemary potatoes, garlic bread, the kinds of foods that usually made my stomach growl. Tonight, though, my appetite was drowned by the dread crawling up my spine. Because I knew Diane. And nothing she did was ever special, unless it was meant to cut. She entered with a flourish, her hands cradling a stack of neatly wrapped dinner boxes, each with our names printed in cursive. My husband, Grant, looked amused, my sister-in-law giddy, my father-in-law proud of her efforts. Diane beamed like a queen presenting offerings to her court. "Here we are," she cooed. "Custom boxes for each of you. A little personal touch." When she reached me, she set mine down last. Her smile was sharp as glass. "Yours is different. You've always been sensitive, Lorraine." The room chuckled politely, but the heat in my cheeks burned. Sensitive. That word had followed me for years. Sensitive when I cried at insults. Sensitive when I refused to laugh at their cruel jokes. Sensitive when I dared to stand up for myself. Ryan's voice, steady, calm from the past, echoed in my memory. "Sensitive isn't weakness, Lorraine. It just means you feel things deeply. Don't ever let them weaponize that." He had been my only ally in that house once. But Ryan was gone now, years passed, leaving me to face Diane alone. I looked down at the box. The label read in bold ink, "Lorraine, Special." The others laughed and opened theirs, delighted by color-coded sides and neatly portioned meals. But I kept staring at mine, my stomach twisting. Something inside whispered that this wasn't just dinner. This was theater, and I was the joke. If you're watching this, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what I uncovered that night wasn't just food. It was a performance my mother-in-law staged to humiliate me. I pushed the box away, my chair scraping against the polished floor. The sound cut through the chatter like a blade. Grant frowned. "Lorraine, what are you doing? Mom went through the trouble of making these for everyone." Diane tilted her head, feigning innocence. "Don't be ungrateful, dear. That one's for you. You'll like it." The tone of her voice, it was too sweet, too deliberate. I'd heard it before. Years ago at Thanksgiving, when she had swapped my dessert plate with a sugar-free pie and announced to everyone, "Lorraine worries about her figure, so I thought I'd help." Laughter had filled the room while my face burned. I reached for the box, lifted it, and without breaking eye contact, walked it straight to the trash bin at the corner of the dining room. The lid hit the garbage bag with a soft thud. The table went silent. Grant shot up, his voice booming. "What the hell are you doing?" Diane gasped, clutching her pearls in mock shock. My sister-in-law's fork hovered midair, eyes wide with glee at the drama unfolding. I turned back to them, my hands steady, my voice cold. "I'm not playing your game tonight." And then, slowly, I reached into my bag and pulled out my laptop, the glow of the screen illuminating my face. "Since we're talking about special things," I said, opening a folder of files I had been gathering for months, "let me show you what was made especially for me." The blood drained from Diane's face. The blue glow of my laptop screen lit up the dining room like a spotlight. Everyone leaned forward, confusion flickering across their faces. Diane's smirk faltered, but she masked it quickly with a laugh. "Oh, Lorraine," she purred, her voice dripping with disdain. "Always so dramatic. Can't you just enjoy dinner for once?" Grant's eyes narrowed at me, his hands balled into fists against the table. "Put the laptop away. You're embarrassing us." But embarrassment was the last thing I felt. For the first time, I felt powerful. I clicked on the first file. It was a simple image, one that had been sitting in my email inbox for weeks. The catering invoice. Each dinner box was listed by name: Grant, Tricia, Paul, Diane, and then mine. Beside my name, in bold red letters, was a note that made my stomach twist the first time I saw it. "Special ingredients. Substitute entree, no sauce, bland sides. Keep packaging separate." I turned the screen toward the table. "Here's the receipt, Diane. The one you forgot to delete after bragging to your caterer. I know what you wrote about me." The silence was deafening. A memory slammed into me, 3 Christmases ago, when Diane had deliberately bought everyone designer scarves while handing me a plastic knockoff with a grin. Yours is just as nice, Lorraine. More practical for someone like you. My heart had clenched then, but I swallowed it to keep the peace. Not anymore. Grant squinted at the screen. Mom? What is this? Diane waved a manicured hand. It's nothing. She's exaggerating. Just a little note for dietary needs. I cut her off, my voice sharp. Dietary needs? I don't have any. You invented them. My sister-in-law Tricia leaned forward, grinning like a child watching a fight. What does it matter? He's right, Lorraine, you're sensitive. Maybe Mom just thought she was doing you a favor. Her laughter grated on me, stirring another memory. My bridal shower, when Tricia and Diane had swapped my cake slice for a sugar-free one and announced to the whole room, we wouldn't want her fainting on the big day. Everyone had laughed. Everyone except me. I steadied my breath and opened the next file. This time it wasn't an invoice. It was an email chain. From Diane to a family friend. You should see the look on her face when I give her special meals. Poor Lorraine, she really can't take a joke. Sensitive to the core. Sometimes I wonder how long Grant will tolerate it. The words glowed on the screen like fire. Grant's face went pale. Mom, you wrote this? Diane shifted in her chair, her pearls rattling as she adjusted them. Oh, Grant, don't be ridiculous. It's just banter. She dug this up to twist things. But her voice cracked. And everyone heard it. I lowered the laptop slightly, my gaze sweeping the table. This isn't banter. This isn't kindness. This is cruelty dressed as concern. Every dinner, every holiday, every gathering, you've made me the punchline. And I'm done laughing. My father-in-law, Paul, finally spoke, his voice gravelly. Diane, is this true? For a split second I thought I saw something like guilt flicker across her face. But it was gone as quickly as it came. Don't be dramatic, she snapped. Lorraine loves to play the victim. The words hit me like ice. Victim. That was always her favorite weapon. I snapped the laptop shut with a loud click, the sound echoing in the stunned dining room. My voice was low, steady, unshakable. Not anymore. The air was so thick it was hard to breathe. Diane glared at me, Grant looked torn, and Tricia's grin faltered into nervous silence. But I wasn't finished. Because if they thought this dinner was going to end with me humiliated, they were dead wrong. It was going to end with the truth. The silence after I shut my laptop was almost louder than any argument. Forks rested midair, glasses sat untouched, and every eye at that table burned into me. Diane leaned back in her chair, her voice calm but etched like a knife. You're really going to make a scene over a dinner box? Over a joke? Her words triggered a memory I had buried deep. The sound of laughter echoing through the family room 2 summers ago. Diane had jokingly placed a child-sized chair for me at the 4th of July barbecue. When I sat in it, my weight cracked the wood and the entire family roared. I laughed weakly with them, but that night I sobbed into my pillow, the smell of smoke from leftover fireworks still clinging to my clothes. No, this wasn't about a joke. It never had been. Grant broke the silence, his face pale, eyes darting between me and his mother. Mom, why would you write that email? Why would you even do something like this? Diane waved her hand. Oh, stop. She's always been too dramatic. Sensitive. You know how she is. I leaned forward, my voice low but sharp. Sensitive doesn't mean weak, Diane. It means I feel every cut you've delivered. And I remember them all. Her mask faltered. Just for a second. Tricia laughed nervously, trying to break the tension. God, Lorraine, it's not that serious. Mom teases everyone. You just take it personally. I turned to her, meeting her gaze squarely. Do you remember my bridal shower? When you and your mother swapped my cake slice for sugar-free and told the whole room I needed to watch my weight. Was that just teasing too? Tricia's smirk flickered. My father-in-law, Paul, shifted uncomfortably. Diane, I think maybe you've gone too far. But Diane snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Don't you dare take her side. She's been nothing but trouble since the day she walked into this family. Her words pierced deeper than I expected. For years I had convinced myself if I just tried harder, cooked better meals, dressed nicer, kept my opinions quiet, she would accept me. But she never had. And she never would. I stood, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. My pulse thundered in my ears, but my voice came out calm, steady. You're right about one thing, Diane. I'm trouble. And I'm done hiding it. Grant's hand reached for mine, but I pulled it back. His voice was desperate. Lorraine, please. Sit down. We can talk about this later. No, I said firmly. We're talking about it now. I opened my laptop again, the glow once more bathing the table. This time I didn't pull up emails. I pulled up a video. The thumbnail froze Diane mid-smirk, her voice faintly audible from the speakers. Lorraine will cry again when she sees her special plate. Sensitive little thing. Gasps erupted from around the table. Grant's face drained of color. You recorded this? I met his eyes. I didn't. One of your cousins sent it to me. Apparently, not everyone thinks this is funny. The blood drained from Diane's face. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, no excuses forming fast enough. I looked around the table, my voice rising just enough to cut through the tension. This family has made me the butt of every joke for years. You've mocked me, belittled me, treated me like I don't belong. Tonight, I'm not just defending myself. I'm showing everyone exactly who you are. The room buzzed with shocked whispers. Even Paul wouldn't meet my eyes. I closed the laptop once more, holding it tightly against my chest. My heart pounded, but I felt something shift inside me. Power, control, freedom. I straightened, eyes locked on Diane's. You wanted me to be special, Diane? Fine. Tonight I am. Special enough to finally bring your games to an end. The room hung in stunned silence. But deep down I knew, the night wasn't over yet. Because Diane never lost without a fight. Diane's face hardened, her smile snapping back into place like armor. So this is your grand performance? She sneered. Dragging out half-truths and gossip to make me look like a villain in front of my family? Her voice was steady, but I saw the twitch in her jaw, the way her hands gripped the edge of the table a little too tightly. Grant looked torn, his gaze flicking between us. Mom, you did say those things. It's not gossip if it came from your own mouth. Diane shot him a glare that could cut glass. And you, how dare you take her side? After everything I've done for you. A bitter laugh bubbled up in my throat. Everything you've done? Diane, you've spent years tearing me down with a smile on your face. You don't get to spin that into sacrifice. Trisha chimed in, trying to salvage her mother's pride. Honestly, Lorraine, you could have just ignored it. Nobody cares about a silly dinner box except you. Her words slammed me with a memory, my first Thanksgiving as Grant's wife. Diane had set my place with a cracked plate, announcing to the entire table, "Oh, Lorraine won't mind. She's not fussy." Everyone had laughed. Everyone except me. I clenched my fist. Nobody cares. I care. And I should have cared a long time ago. Paul finally spoke, his voice low, weary. Diane, maybe you've gone too far with this. She spun on him, her pearls rattling with the motion. Don't you dare undermine me, Paul. You've watched this girl undermine me since day one and you've said nothing. The room was unraveling, voices rising, defenses cracking. But I stayed standing, my laptop pressed to my side like a shield. I inhaled deeply, my voice cutting through the noise. This isn't about jokes or teasing. This is about power. You make me the sensitive one, so you can excuse cruelty. You make me special, so you can justify humiliation. But tonight, Diane, your mask slips. Grant rubbed his temples, muttering under his breath. God, I can't believe this is happening. His voice cracked when he looked at me. Why didn't you tell me sooner, Lorraine? Pain pricked behind my eyes. Because you didn't want to see it. Every time I tried, you brushed it off. That's just how Mom is, you'd say. You thought I was overreacting. And I believed you, until now. His face fell, guilt washing over him. For the first time I saw him see me, not as sensitive, not as dramatic, but as someone who had been surviving in silence. Diane slammed her palms on the table. You're pathetic, Lorraine. You always have been. No wonder you cling to your laptop and your little evidence. Without it, you're nothing. My pulse thundered, but I forced my voice to remain calm. Without it, I'm still the woman who won't let you bully me anymore. I'm still the wife who refuses to be humiliated for sport. And I'm still the person who's finally done letting you define me. The words landed like blows, and for the first time, Diane didn't have a quick retort. The room felt different now. Not lighter, yet, but shifted. The power she had wielded so effortlessly for years was slipping, and she knew it. Trish's voice was small this time. Mom. But Diane didn't look at her. She only stared at me, eyes burning with a mix of rage and something else, fear. I held her gaze, refusing to flinch. You wanted a performance, Diane? Fine. But I'm not the clown in your circus anymore. Tonight the spotlight's on you. Her lips parted, a protest on the edge of her tongue. But I closed my laptop and turned toward the door. Because the final act of this dinner wasn't going to play out here. It was going to play out on my terms. The drive home was quiet except for the hum of the tires on the pavement. Grant gripped the wheel tightly, his knuckles pale against the leather. His jaw worked like he was chewing on words he couldn't swallow. Finally he spoke. You blindsided me back there, Lorraine. I turned in my seat, my chest tightening. I blindsided you? Grant, your mother humiliated me in front of your entire family with that special box. I just refused to let her get away with it this time. He exhaled sharply, eyes fixed on the road. You should have told me about those emails, that video. I would have handled it. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. Would you have? Or would you have brushed it off like always? Told me I was overreacting, that it's just how your mom is. He didn't answer. The silence told me everything. When we got home, I walked straight to my desk and opened my laptop again. My hands shook, but not from fear, from clarity. For years I had kept folders labeled, "Keep the Peace," little collections of texts, emails, screenshots. I never knew why I saved them. Tonight I did. Because I was done keeping the peace. Ryan leaned in the doorway watching me. What are you doing? I didn't look up. I'm gathering everything. Every cruel email, every mocking message, every time she made me the joke. His voice was hesitant. Lorraine, this will destroy her. My eyes burned as I finally met his gaze. Good. Because she's been destroying me for years. The next day, Diane tried to regain her throne. A carefully written post appeared on the family's social media group. Last night's dinner was lovely, though some people can't handle a little light teasing. Family is about laughter after all. I stared at the words, bow rising in my throat. Light teasing. She was already rewriting the narrative, painting herself as the gracious matriarch and me as the hysterical outsider. But this time I was ready. I typed slowly, my hands steady. Laughter isn't cruelty. Here's what you didn't see last night. Then I attached the video. Diane's smirk, her voice calling me sensitive little thing, played across the group chat for everyone to hear. Within minutes, notifications exploded. Shocked comments, angry emojis, even distant relatives chiming in with, "She did the same to me once" stories. The facade Diane had polished for decades was cracking in real time. Grant confronted me later that night, his face pale, his voice tight. You didn't have to post that. Yes, I did, I replied firmly. She thrives in the dark. I just turned on the lights. He rubbed his face, torn between loyalty to his mother and the truth staring him down. She's still my mom. And I'm your wife, I shot back. When will I matter as much as her approval? The question hung heavy between us. He didn't answer. That night, alone in bed, I thought about every time Diane had called me special, sensitive, delicate. Words meant to shrink me, to make me doubt myself. But lying there in the quiet, I realized something. My sensitivity was never weakness. It was my strength. It was the reason I saw the truth when everyone else excused her cruelty. The following morning, Diane called. Her voice was sharp, panicked. Lorraine, take that video down. Do you have any idea what you've done to this family? I held the phone to my ear, my voice calm, steady. It's Diane. I've told the truth. You'll regret this, she hissed. I smiled, even though she couldn't see it. No, Diane. You will. Because the final act of this story wasn't going to be her rewriting the narrative. It was going to be me reclaiming mine. The fallout came faster than even I expected. By the end of the week, the family group chat had split into factions. Half defended Diane, insisting I had overreacted. The other half, empowered by the video I had shared, began revealing their own stories. Stories of backhanded comments, of ruined holidays, of jokes that cut deeper than anyone admitted at the time. Diane's empire of charm and control was crumbling, because the truth was no longer just mine. It was collective. Grant sat across from me at the breakfast table, his face pale, his coffee untouched. They won't stop calling me, he muttered. Dad, Aunt Melinda, even cousins I haven't spoken to in years. They all want me to make you delete it. I held his gaze. Are you asking me to? He swallowed hard. No. Because they're right about one thing. I should have protected you sooner. My chest tightened, but this time not with hurt, with relief. For the first time I wasn't standing alone. Later that afternoon my phone buzzed again. A message from Diane, this time not in the family chat but sent directly to me. You think you've won? Enjoy your little moment, Lorraine. Families forgive but they don't forget. You'll always be the outsider. I read it twice, the words cold and venomous. Then slowly I smiled. Because she still didn't understand. Being an outsider was no longer an insult. It was freedom. That evening I hosted a dinner of my own. Nothing fancy, just pasta, garlic bread and wine with a few close friends and Ryan's supportive cousins, the ones who had quietly thanked me for exposing Diane. As laughter filled my home, real laughter, not the cruel kind that Diane specialized in, I felt lighter than I had in years. The smell of basil and garlic filled the kitchen, mingling with the sound of clinking glasses. And for once, there was no tension beneath the surface, no waiting for the next cutting remark. This was what family should feel like. But the true revenge, the kind Diane would never escape, came a few days later. The catering company, horrified that their invoice had been shared, cut ties with her. Word spread through her social circles. Invitations to galas, brunches, luncheons. Suddenly they grew fewer. Women who once gushed over her grace, now whispered about her cruelty. Her perfect image, the one she had polished for decades, was cracked beyond repair. Grant showed me a social media post one evening, shaking his head. It was from Diane's closest friend, a woman she used to brag to about managing the sensitive daughter-in-law. The caption read, "Be careful who you humiliate. They might not stay silent forever." The smile that spread across my face was slow, steady. For the first time Diane wasn't laughing. One night as I sat with my laptop open, I recorded my final thoughts. Not for Diane, not even for my family, but for the women and men who had written me after the video went viral in our circles. If you're watching this, have you ever faced betrayal? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Because silence protects the cruel, but truth sets you free. I paused, letting the words sink in. They called me sensitive. They called me delicate. But here's the truth. Sensitivity is power. Seeing the cracks no one else wants to admit are there. And sometimes it's exactly what you need to take the whole facade down. I closed the laptop and leaned back, a calm I hadn't felt in years washing over me. Diane thought she'd written the final script for me. Special, sensitive, outsider. But I had rewritten it line by line until it was mine again. Sensitive isn't weakness. It's power.